I Today we are learning how to spot a covert narcissist. Narcissism is a spectrum, meaning some people have it a little and some have it a lot. Unlike loud narcissists, covert ones hide their traits early in a relationship. However, you will eventually notice strange patterns in how they talk and act. Sign 1. Subtle boasting. 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. A covert narcissist won't shout about their success, but they brag in a subtle way. They still want you to know how much money they make or how high their IQ is. They do this by dropping small hints or making veiled references to the important people they know. Their goal is always to get you to admire them. It's okay to share success sometimes, but if they constantly try to prove they are special, it is a warning sign. Sign 2. Gossiping. Covert narcissists constantly talk behind people's backs to make themselves feel superior. They bash friends, family, and even coworkers. They might even say mean things about strangers because no one is safe from their trash talk. If you try to stay positive, they will tell you that you took it the wrong way. Often, they disguise gossip as concern. For example, they might say they feel bad for a friend whose husband cheated, but then immediately insult the friend's weight. Sign 3. Criticism as a compliment. They don't just judge others, they will criticize you too. They might act like they are doing you a grand favor by being honest. They often wrap a mean comment inside a compliment. They might say, "You're pretty smart for someone who didn't go to college." If you tell them they hurt your feelings, they will say it was just a joke or call you too sensitive. Sign 4. Unsolicited advice. They give a lot of advice you didn't ask for. Instead of listening, they tell you exactly what your problem is. They might pretend to care for a second, but then they quickly switch to talking about a time they had the exact same problem. They often get very offended if you don't agree with their ideas or do exactly what they say. Sign 5. Playing the victim. Covert narcissists are experts at playing the victim. They change stories to make it look like they're being treated unfairly. If you tell a story about your own pain, they will interrupt to say they have suffered worse. It is always poor me. They are never the bad guy in their own stories and never take responsibility for their mistakes in a relationship. Sign 6. Self-centeredness. They are incredibly self-centered and will always shift the conversation back to themselves. If you mention you like hiking, they will cut you off to talk about all the hiking they have done. They don't have a real interest in you. Conversations feel one way. You don't get much airtime to talk about your life unless they are fishing for gossip. Sign 7. Selective listening. They only pay attention when the topic helps their own ego. If the talk isn't about them, they zone out or ignore you. They might cut you off mid-sentence to talk about something totally unrelated. Even if they say they are empathetic, they can't actually put themselves in your shoes. Sign 8. Defensiveness. They are very defensive and might attack your character if you disagree with them. They get upset over very tiny, trivial things. If you try to fix a misunderstanding, it only fires them up more. They might rage or completely shut down and stop talking. Sign 9. Double standards. They have a long list of rules for you, but they don't follow them. These are one-way boundaries. For example, they might demand you text back instantly, but they only reply to you when they feel like it. Their rules change based on their mood. Sign 10. Labeling others. Finally, they often call other people narcissists or abusers. This is a way to hide their own shame and shift blame. Finally, after talking to them, you might feel anxious or like a threat is lurking nearby. You might feel diminished, confused, or judged. You might feel frustrated because the conversation was so one-sided. Most of all, you will feel completely drained and exhausted every time you spend time with them. Remember, you aren't the problem. These are the patterns of a covert narcissist. Don't let their unsolicited advice make you feel inferior. They will always find a way to make it poor me. They use one-way conversations to stay in control. Recognize the signs to protect your energy.
If you love exploring the psychology behind the human behavior, hit subscribe button. Because on this channel, we not just learn facts, we understand the human mind.